Hey homies, this is Ebony. In recent weeks, I've been watching women be murdered, shot, and shattered by the men closest to them. Their husbands, boyfriends, sons. 3 weeks ago, I pulled up the new moon chart and I sat back in my chair. I felt tears welling up. I knew this month was going to be brutal. Then the headlines started. Dr. Cerina Fairfax, Shaniqua Pugh, Davonta Curtis. I want to share some of these stories and then I want to show you what I saw in that chart, because when something like this returns, and a version of it will, I want you to be able to recognize it. Before we begin, a quick note. This video is pretty heavy. I'll be discussing specific incidents of women facing violence, so take care of yourself if you need to. Let me walk you through some of these stories. Dr. Cerina Fairfax, a 47-year-old dentist from Fairfax County, Virginia, was in the middle of divorcing her husband, Justin, Virginia's former lieutenant governor. She had filed court papers documenting his financial abuse, sexual assault allegations, and alcoholism. Just 3 days before his court hearing, he shot Cerina, then turned the gun on himself while their children were at home. In Louisiana, Shaniqua Pugh was in the process of separating from her husband, Shamar Elkins. He shot the mother of 3 of his kids, Christina Snow, in the face at her home. Then he drove to Shaniqua's home, shot her, and killed 8 children, including his kids with Christina and Shaniqua. Shaniqua's sister, Kiosha, and Kiosha's daughter jumped from the roof to escape and both survived. Police killed Elkins, and at the time of this recording, both Shaniqua and Christina are still fighting for their lives. Both of these cases fit a known pattern. Women are most likely to be killed by their partners in the 2 months right after they try to leave. Then there's Davonta Curtis, a 31-year-old Black trans woman from Chicago. Her boyfriend brutally bludgeoned her to death while she slept. He had literally Googled how to kill somebody with a hammer, later confessing to her murder and stealing her money, phone, and car. There are many more stories like these, too many stories like these. But from an astrological standpoint, what was happening now that made things different? As we break down the new moon chart from April 17th, 2026 set for Washington, D.C., we'll see how the planetary lineup mirrors these tragic events. In astrology, new moons mark the start of an astrological month, symbolizing new beginnings. The sun and the moon meet at the same place in the sky, the cycle resets, and the seed gets planted to grow through the lunar cycle ahead. Whatever is happening in the sky on that day effectively gets frozen in time for the next 28 and a half days. So when a new moon occurs amidst difficult celestial configurations like the ones I'm about to share, existing tensions are amplified. We're just going to look at a few things here, so don't get overwhelmed by the chart. Let's start with the ascendant. It is at 25 degrees Taurus. The ascendant tells us what's on the horizon, and it tells us about the environment that we're stepping into. In the sign of Taurus, there's a stubbornness. It's immovable. We're locked in, standing 10 toes down, no matter what. You ain't going nowhere, I ain't going nowhere, we ain't going nowhere. You hear me? And more specifically, this degree of Taurus has tarot connections to the 7 of Pentacles and the King of Swords. So what does that mean? The esoteric name of the 7 of Pentacles is the Lord of Success Unfulfilled. It often deals with financial struggle, and there is a connection to Saturn in Taurus, and that speaks to a great deal of hard work that yields disappointment. It ain't gonna happen, it's not gonna change. On the other hand, the King of Swords embodies a ruthless, cutting decisiveness. He doesn't take anyone's humanity into consideration when he makes a choice. He is very clear on what he's doing and won't allow his heart, even if he has one, to stand in the way. And in my opinion, like the King of Swords, these types of situations don't actually have anything to do with love. Because if they loved you, maybe they would have gotten some act right so you could have stayed together. Cicero described the King of Swords, saying he is active, clever, subtle, fierce, delicate, courageous, skillful, but inclined to domineer. He is deceitful, tyrannical, and crafty. They go on to say he symbolizes violent, fiery power of movement, and he is the furious storm and eye of the hurricane. So that's pretty scary, no? Moving on, Taurus is ruled by Venus. In a mundane chart, such as one representing a country like we're looking at today, Venus takes on a significant role, governing crucial aspects like women's issues, the national birth rate, and the social dynamics surrounding marriage and children. This month, these themes are coming to the forefront. I want to explore 5 key combinations that may shed light on how we got here from an astrological perspective. In the new moon chart, first we see a conjunction of Venus, Uranus, and each of these planetary pairs has its own unique meaning, so let's break them down. When Venus and Admetos come together, it can signify repressed affections, coldness in love, and even heartless. They can symbolize the end of love, being without sensation, without feeling, without heart, King of Swords, and notably, the death of a female. Uranus and Admetos together, and I actually covered this combination in my Uranus and Gemini video, so you can check that out here. That can represent cracking, shocks, breaking off, breaking up, or breaking down. The things that are getting torn apart, in addition to convulsions, sudden separations, and murder. So when we synthesize these meanings, we paint a picture that highlights a violent and a sudden conclusion to love, or even the tragic death of a woman, potentially through violent means. 2. Remember when I said a new moon is the sun and the moon meeting? In astrology, that combination of sun and moon can represent several things, one among them being the husband and wife. This is a marriage combination. Chiron is damage, wounding, pain, isolation, struggle. It's the turning point. It's the victim and the victimizer, the wounder and the wounded. The 12th house, where all this stuff is happening, is a place of hidden struggles, betrayal, and unseen forces at play. It's essentially where things fall apart in ways nobody sees until it's all over. On the other hand, we have Zeus, a trans-Neptunian planet that can represent controlled force, weaponry, and compulsive behavior. By the way, if you want to learn more about Zeus or Admetos or any other of these planets with weird names that I'm mentioning, check out this video. Now, let's pause for a moment. Imagine the husband and wife, intertwined, connected through a shared wound, sitting in the house of betrayal with weapons. Something is getting discharged. 3. Mercury, Mars, Saturn, and Neptune were also aligned in a conjunction. If you remember the classic Schoolhouse Rock song, Conjunction Junction, what's your function? Hooking up words in closet. So that's what a conjunction is, bringing planets together. Now, let's dive deeper into what this conjunction means. When Mars and Saturn come together, it often signifies endings. These can manifest as work stoppages, interruptions, or even serious matters like acute illnesses and funerals. This energy can invoke feelings of forced separation or death. When we add Mercury and Mars into the mix, that can bring heated conversations, surfacing harsh words, and perhaps violent thoughts. And with Mars, Mercury, and Saturn involved, we might encounter troubling news related to separations or unfortunate events like death. Now, throw Neptune into all of that blended together. We've discussed the dynamics between Saturn and Neptune extensively in this video, but to summarize, their conjunction brings themes of loss, deception, fraud, illness, and prolonged adverse conditions. So, with the combined influences of Mars, Saturn, Mercury, and Neptune, we're looking at forced separations, instances of death, theft, and deceit. Quick reminder, Davonta Curtis's boyfriend allegedly killed her and added insult to tragedy by stealing her phone and car. Then we have Cerina Fairfax, who, according to Cerina, was financially draining the family. She documented the situation in court. He had neglected to pay his share for the children's school fees, defaulted on nearly $30,000 in credit card debt, and left her to cover all of the household bills while he spent extravagantly. In a way, the marriage she was trying to leave had already become a form of theft. So that's the Mars, Saturn, Mercury, Neptune layer. Let's keep unpacking the chart. Number 4. In Uranian astrology, the midheaven symbolizes the moment, and during a new moon, that moment is essentially crystallized for the month ahead. Juno and Pluto were in a conjunction with the midheaven. Together, they can indicate the presence of a wealthy partner, but more often it represents someone who is deeply committed to the concept of marriage or partnership, sometimes bordering on obsession. There's an undercurrent of intense sexuality and even infidelity. And yes, that too is playing out publicly right now, with news of Klay Thompson allegedly cheating on Megan Thee Stallion breaking last week. I can't with him. In its heavier expressions, this combination can mean death through marriage. Adding to this profound intensity is Vulcanus, which opposes Juno and Pluto amplifying the energy, adding fuel to the fire. This significant moment casts a long shadow over the month, carrying with it themes of obsession, power struggles, and the darker sides of relationships that can even lead to death. And finally, number 5. We see Pallas, Zeus, and Cupido interconnected in this astrological chart. Remember Zeus from earlier? It represents controlled force, weaponry, and compulsive behavior, while Pallas embodies strategy and calculation, the mental aspect and warrior that plans ahead. Together, these energies converge on Cupido, which governs family dynamics, suggesting a potential for calculated, weaponized aggression within familial relationships. This points to a disturbing trend, premeditated violence, particularly within families. We've witnessed tragic events where this type of aggression has resulted in devastating outcomes, men harming their wives, like Ivy Unruh and Emma McDonald, or even cases like Barbara Deere, whose son took her life before ending his own. It's a sick, sad world. If you're interested in a personal consultation to explore your own chart, make sure to check out the link in the description box below. Before I wrap up, I want to touch on something important. Spousal homicides occur every day, and most of the time it's personal. You'll often find some of these same planetary alignments triggering a person's chart, whether it's the victims or the perpetrators. However, these tragic events don't always make headlines, right? Every so often, a significant astrological event brings several of these cases into the spotlight, capturing the nation's attention. And that's exactly what happened this time around with this recent new moon. It connected all of these different stories together and created a collective experience. And the month's not over just yet, so more to come. The next time you see a wave of these stories hitting the news, when something feels off, pull up the chart. Now, if this video gave you language for something you've been feeling, hit subscribe and tap that notification bell so you don't miss the next one. For those we've already lost and the ones who are still fighting to stay alive, I want to say their names one more time. Dr. Cerina Fairfax, Shaniqua Pugh, Christina Snow, all of the 8 children who were lost that day, Pastor Tammy McCollum, Vice Mayor Nancy Metayer Bowen, Barbara Deere, Davonta Curtis, and every woman whose name I didn't get to. Thank you for watching, and please take care of yourselves and each other. Peace, homies.